Welcome to Fight Breakdowns, a series in which I, Anki, break down anime fights with no actual fighting experience myself. I don't know taekwondo, karate, boxing, I don't know how to wield a sword or use magic, hell, I'm the player who just mashes every button in a fighting game. But here I am dissecting a shonen fan's dream, an anime fight.
Come get some blood!
Many of you know or probably have heard of the Fate series. Maybe you've heard of the Eroge visual novel or of Studio Ufotable's unlimited budget to make unlimited fates. Being the anime that's infamous for being more convoluted than rocket science, let me be the first to tell you that, hey, it's not that bad. I am in no way biased when I say that, okay?
That is such bullshit.
All you gotta do is watch Fate Zero, then Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, then Heaven's Feel, then maybe you want to watch Fate Apocrypha, and then you could go into all the fake Grand Order stuff, and then
Wake up! Wake up!
But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about all of Fate. I wanted to focus specifically on my favorite Fate fight, and possibly one of the greatest anime fights to ever exist. I'm talking about Saber versus Rider. This fight is Ufotable's magnum opus in my opinion. They really came into the studio and cooked with all of their budget. When I say this fight is beautiful, I genuinely mean this fight is top notch when it comes to animation, choreography, and just the sheer impact this fight has in developing the characters. You start right here and you have Saber facing off against Shiro and Rider, with Rin going up ahead to face off against Sakura in her own fight and her own thing. But that's a different story for another day. Just starting off the fight, it's already insane. You have these two insane servants, these ridiculously strong servants, just releasing a shitload of their mana as they just stare off each other and begin this crazy ass brawl. Saber throughout Fate has like restricted mana because the whole time she's the servant of Shiro, who doesn't really have that much mana. But here, since she's Sakura's servant in this case, Dark Sakura's servant, she essentially has unlimited mana, so she can just release all of it. She can just go full blast. And just in the starting scene, you see her just release a shit ton of power. And to match that, Rider, for like one of the only times in the series, takes off her visor covering her eyes, because if you guys didn't know, Rider is Medusa, so she has mystic eyes that allow her to paralyze and, you know, based on the myth, turn people into stone when they look at her eyes. So you can see her, she takes out her chains and opens up those mystic eyes, and it's just one of the coldest fucking openings I've ever seen. I know in between the scene there's like a little interlude where Rin and Sakura start facing off each other. Essentially you have these two insane fights happening simultaneously. But once that interaction between Rin and Sakura is over, they cut straight back to Rider and Saber Ultra's fight. Just in the heat of things, like they just cut back mid-fight, and the OST on this shit goes so hard. It actually goes insane. Here you got Rider just fucking running around like at insane speeds, right? And Saber's just kind of waiting for like this kind of parry. It's almost like, let's say you had like Malekith from Elden Ring just running all around you. You wait for that opening where he attacks you to dodge or parry and then hit him back, right? So it's kind of like that. Like she sees the opening to hit Rider, and she takes it. She takes this huge blast of Excalibur. Once again, because she has unlimited mana, she's just able to spam a shit ton of Excaliburs over and over again. And you can see Rider's like speed showcased here. She's able to dodge these huge blasts by just running past them. I don't know what she used right there, but she just went into a full like torso like body spin. She's going down the water slide in the air, bro. kind of reminds me of like Minato versus Obito, where like you have Obito using the chains because he can phase through people, and then he uses the chains to like catch them off guard, right? Because the chains stay solid even though he like phases through them. It's kind of like Ryder's doing that, but I don't think she doesn't use it for the same purpose. But it is really interesting that she does use the chains in this fight. That interaction right there is one of my favorite parts in the fight. Ryder uses her rider skills to just be insanely fast, right? And she gets behind the enemy, and it's like, oh, she has a open shot on the enemy. But Saber Ultra, just because she's so strong, she's able to hit the parry. And with the parry, she's able to hit a counter, which Ryder then dodges, using her agility, trying to hit back. But then Saber Ultra uses her armor, her bulky ass knight armor that she's wearing, to just block that. Like, it's crazy. And she's just able to one-hand slash her sword too. Like, most of the time we see Excalibur being dual-wielded, right? Dual-handed. So here she blocks with one hand, uses her other hand to slice the sword, which Ryder dodges again. It's just such a nice back and forth. Ryder does this a lot in the fight, where she dodges, gets away, and then she just starts like flying in circles. Like, she did it with the torpedo, where she was like torpedoing around in a circle, and now she's like acrobating all over the place. It's just some like crazy agility, and I don't know how the Rider class has this. You just start like riding the air or something. Like, Saber has to like track this shit midair, and that's when that's when she like uses her actual ability, her Mystic Eyes, her ability to turn anyone that looks at her eyes. They get paralyzed. They start turning into stone, and Salter gets caught with that right here, because Salter gets caught off balance, because she gets paralyzed because of this the eye buff, essentially the Medusa eye paralysis. Ryder's able to get a clean, like, insane hit off. It's such good use of the ability too. She just dodges and she just keeps dodging and moving around really fast to the point where Saber has to keep track of her. She has to keep her eyes on her. And when that's being used, Ryder can just use her Mystic Eyes to essentially paralyze them. And then she can just run in using her speed to get a clean hit. It's so good. Such good use. Like, Saber being Saber. I mean, Saber is the strongest class in the Holy Grail War. So she's able to essentially push through it, because it's only like paralyzing her armor. So it's like stiffening up her movements, making her much slower, so Ryder can get the hits off. But she's still able to like semi-parry stuff. Salter spamming Excalibur Morgan, just absolutely decimating the cave. Like, Ryder knows she can't take a hit from this. She just has to dodge all of it, or she's destroyed. I mean, here you can see the effect of the cursed eyes from Medusa. They're actually doing a lot for her on this battle. They severely restrict Saber's or Salter's movement, so she can get all these hits in that she otherwise probably wouldn't be able to, because of Saber's reaction speed and just how explosive her weapon is. Also, this part's kind of nice, right? It's like you're like jabbing at the enemy mid-fight. Saber used to be Shiro's servant, but here in this altered form, she's the enemy. This part's pretty cool too. I mean, Saber's charging up a big blow to hit, right? But Ryder, in that time that she was about to go for like an Excalibur swing, Ryder just uses the terrain to break these stalactites and essentially knock Saber off her balance, forcing Saber to dodge these stalactites, and you're essentially creating this smoke screen with the rubble, right? So then Ryder's able to use this smokescreen that she's created with the environment to get up behind Saber and go for attack. But then at the same time, Saber, because she's so like reactive, so like hyper aware of her environment, she just instantly detects Ryder's mana behind her and just goes for the flawless Excalibur swing to the back. And the animation on that goes so hard. It's such a clean blow too. And just the sheer amount of destruction this one blow does. That one blow knocks up all the rocks in the cave and makes it from a ground, like boots on the ground fight, into an aerial fight. Like, yeah, they're not technically in the air fighting like midair. They're on rocks in the air, but hey, you change the terrain up, and it's really interesting when it comes to how they change up their fight. Now they're just straight parrying and straight using the rubble as like platforming. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just platforming from rubble to rubble, using rubble as cover, using it as like platforms to bounce off of to get like more momentum or like a different angle on each other. It's so cool. This is also another one of my favorite scenes, right? The close combat in this fight, most of the close combat in this fight is like my favorite part of the action sequences, my favorite part of the choreography, because of just how well they do it. There's so much back and forth in the little close to close combat where it's not just like one of them is getting absolutely cooked by the other one. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like the MP scenes where you just have this crazy ass MP just obliterating everything. But these close to close combat where they're not using their full power, they're just hitting each other with whatever fucking weapon they have, it's so satisfying. You can start seeing that something's happening, right? Ryder is doing something using all this rubble. Like, it's this side action sequence development that happens alongside as she like essentially distracts Saber. She keeps Saber on her toes to the point where Saber's not really like thinking about all this rubble, all this environment that Ryder is seemingly setting up for a bigger move, right? The trap comes to fruition, like right here. She essentially gets the maze of chains and collides all of it into Saber. Like the whole time she was fighting, she was also wrapping these invisible chains around the environment and Salter. So now it just she can like catacomb Saber mid-air to restrict her movement even more and essentially block this NP right here. Essentially gives Ryder and Shiro time right here to set up their like offensive plan, because Saber gets cooked, kind of. She kind of gets cooked right there, like absolutely outplayed by Ryder in that scene. And this sequence, one of my favorite parts of this fight. It's such good animation. It's so good. It's so fucking good, man. Like, you have these two powerhouses charging their NPs. They're about to set off these atomic bombs. And then you got fucking Shiro pop in here. My boy pops in here with the fucking projection. He channels his powers, you know? He channels his trace powers to now replicate Ro Arias. Too cold, man. Too cold. God, that sequence is so good, man. Shiro hits... He successfully completes the Ro Arias to be this big, powerful shield to block Ryder, who's charging up her own MP. Meanwhile, Saber hits the biggest Excalibur. It's the biggest fucking Excalibur to destroy this Ro Arias and essentially just pummel through their defenses and wipe them out. But Shiro just... He's a G, man. He's tanking the fucking swords up his arm to block Ryder. It's just over for Saber, you know? It's over. Shiro was... Hey, even if Shiro didn't do much in this fight... even if Shiro didn't do much in this fight, when they most needed him, he pulled up. He clutched up. he hit that shield. It was just enough to win the fight, you know? Even after that, like, Ryder is clearly injured. Ryder is very clearly injured and pretty much out of this fight. That one NP, it pretty much took all of Ryder's power, all of her mana, to essentially do a dent in Saber's total power, because Saber Alter is not as strong as like peak Saber. So like this is like maybe like 75% strong Saber, and she had to use full power. That one part's kind of sad though. Like Saber Alter, Saber, she finally comes back to her senses in that final moment, right before he's about to kill him, right before Shira's about to kill her. If only Saber could have had a better outcome in this route. But if she had a better outcome, we wouldn't have gotten this epic fight. It is what it is. But yeah, that is just one of the best fights in this series and one of the best fights I've ever seen in anime. The animation, out of this world. The choreography, the close quarters fights are some of my, or like the close quarter action sequences mid-fight, some of my favorites, and the choreography in each scene is so nicely executed that it just like combines to be this masterpiece of a fight. So that's gonna do it for the first episode of Fight Breakdowns. If you guys are new here, drop a sub, drop a like. It would greatly benefit my channel, and I would love to keep doing this and growing my channel, and maybe we can start doing some bigger, better stuff, you know? If you guys have any suggestions for fights you want to see on this, see me break down, see me react to, something like that, put it down in the comment section below. And yeah, I have an idea of what I want to do on the next video, but I'll have to see then. You guys will have to wait for that. Alright then, peace.